Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be making a Disco Panzer in real life because, first of all, it gives me an excuse to not upload for months, and at the same time, it's always been bothering me that it's been viewed so many times but no one has bothered to make at least the templates or a blueprint of the 3D tank, so most of this project is guessed. So let me pop back into reality. I first gotta find myself some materials, cause I'm gonna be making this out of card, as you can see. And to find some more spare card, I also got it in another dumpster. So, to build the chassis, I just printed out some templates. Also, I printed out some references, because I need to know how to build the Disco Panzer. Now you see, through my investigation, I found that the Ossifan G is different from the Disco Panzer, which is Ossifan H. Why? Because it says so. So, when I cut out the bits that I was not bothered to film, I realized maybe you, the viewer, might want to make this Disco Panzer yourself. So I present the pieces in templates, so you can try to reverse engineer all of the parts yourself. Good luck! So now you see that this piece has been extended, which I've made a completely new hull, and that's why I called it the OCFH. Now you see why I added this little stump here was because I needed to fit a lot of speakers on the frontal hull, and as you can see, I don't have a lot of space, so I needed more hull room, and there we go, the frontal belly armor. I made other parts such as this hatch, but then the doors or hatches just wouldn't work, so I need to think of a way of how to open it, but I gave up. So now with all these parts, I need to glue them together with glue, but now I can't find where it is, so I have to look all around my room. And here I found a Panzer 3, so I just put it there for reference. And now I found glue, but this glue was empty, so it's useless. And as I kept searching, actually, where's my glue at? I can't find my glue, where is it? You see, I was starting to really worry, cause I wondered how I would continue this project without glue. But there, I found it, in the corner of my bed, in where I wake up every morning. I hit my toe, and I don't know why I put a desk there, but you'll have to ask the past me. There's always a problem with gluing, and it's not the gluing itself, but losing the cap that goes with the glue. So I spent a lot of time this time to make sure that I do not lose the cap. Now me talking and seeing me just struggle with making this project is pretty boring, so I'm gonna make a quick montage to skip through maybe 2 minutes. Good luck facing my editing skills.
Auf 100 Hertz splittern deine Fensterscheiben. Precision German Engineering, der Panzer lässt die Party steigen. Aus dem Boxen stimmt ein Mehr aus Sound, die Menge geht im Hart was unter. Der Disco Panzer hört nicht auf, die ganze Stadt wird zum Partybunker. Disco Panzer.
When I make the suspension, I literally make it like a little kid. I drag and reshape squares, circles, anything to make my shapes. I literally don't use any Blender, Auto Fusion, any of these I don't use. I just find it easier to play with blocks. The suspension system of the Panzer 3 was a pain in the ass to figure out because the torsion bars line exactly with each other since they don't intersect like the Panther or anything else like that. So I figured if I just split the torsion bar systems into 2 pieces, then I might have a chance to maybe make it. My tripod was a bit short, so I went online and found my tripod with the tall long neck. So then I found out what it could do, and in the description it told me it could extend itself, so I did that. Now that my camera's leveled, I applied some glue onto the printer bed and then scraped it and then let it print. Now I don't know about you, but I find it easier to attempt to fix a print mistake with my fingers literally centimeters away from a 200-degree nozzle. So if you see me using my left hand in the next video, you'll know what happened. To show you why I muted the background audio for this print video, I'm gonna release this one so you can hear why. If you're still watching this far, that means you could have just been rickrolled. Because I don't want to lose views or subscribers, I didn't rickroll you, so you better subscribe. When I first printed out the first torsion bar, there was a big mistake I made. First of all, the torsion bar, no, not the torsion bar, I mean the torsion bar piece that connects with the bar of the torsion, no, never mind. The piece that looks like a stick that connects to the wheels, that piece that connected to that piece was too short, so it couldn't fit through the chassis. Second of all, the torsion bar itself was too short, and isn't too short, no, not short, I mean long. Too long, as in it wouldn't fit the center, meaning that 2 torsion bars would clash, and the very thing I designed the double torsion bar piece to prevent. So I threw the piece that I didn't need away, and I'm actually pretty happy with myself that I created this suspension mechanism. No rubber bands, no springs. All I did was just recreate a torsion bar. And as for why there's a thing sticking out of the end of the torsion bar, you can find out later. I had some issues with fitting the torsion bar inside the system together, so instead of doing the right thing and remodeling it, I actually just spent hard working labor to try cut out the pieces correctly into the right shape so it could slot together. As I finished printing the rest of the parts for the suspension, I was actually pretty happy with myself, considering that it actually did make most of the torsion bars go up when needed. But then I found that there was a huge mistake that I made. I didn't leave out a hole for the servo, so I went on and I just melted a hole right through in order to get the piece to fit, instead of drilling a proper hole. Now you're probably expecting me to cut out this process, but I like watching metal burn, so you're gonna watch it till the end. I then needed to create supports to hold the servo in place, so I measured the dimensions required for the piece. 10 mil? Yeah, I think 10 mil. Later I felt where I was gluing my supports in seemed off, so I turned everything on. Okay, that was pretty stupid, not gonna lie. But what I felt off about the whole thing was that if the support was glued on to the base, which is essentially just layers of card, which is essentially just mesh of paper, just stuck together, a thin layer of that would just rip off and destroy the whole base, and I would probably have to restart everything. So in order to counter that problem, I just got a piece of plastic and glued it to a wide surface area, so whenever it does rip, it'd rip off a whole chunk and make everything harder for me. To be honest here, I'm just letting my hand spill glue wherever I think it should go. Anyway, when gluing the supports in for the servo, I found it easier to blindly guess where to put the supports in, as it meant faster production time, and it also means that I was only sacrificing the risk of having to restart the whole thing. But that rarely happens. Anyway, I liked how the road wheels were turning out, and the suspension system, controlled by the servo, seemed to be very well working, as shown. I think I just broke something. Hold up. Hold up. Come on. Okay. I made the road wheels to be a bit more fun to print, as it consists of basically 4 parts to make one road wheel. As you can see, there's this black piece, this tire, this rim, I don't know what you call it, on the road wheel that gives it more grip, I suppose. And it was very fun for me to print, as it flew away when I was scraping it off. I always have to end up going around my room just to pick up the pieces. Well, anyway, I was very surprised when they fit within the road wheel very well, as I actually had no idea whether they would work or not. Considering I mass-produced all of the parts in one, I could have just put it all to waste. Now I know I said the road wheels consist of 4 parts, but actually they technically would consist of 6, including the suspension, which holds the road wheel together, otherwise it would be called a spare wheel. Anywho, when gluing the cover on for the road wheels, it covers the actual screw inside, so once I glue it on with super glue, which is very solid, I'll never be able to take it back out to replace or do anything. I'll just have to rip it off. Well, you know the general process with the road wheels: glue, stick and repeat. And same applies with the sprocket and idler wheel. But there was one thing about the Disco Panzer, and it was its sprocket. You see in the pictures, it doesn't have any teeth. So I went up and came up with a T34 sprocket design in hope that could just cover up the teeth and still be able to drag the caterpillar through. I was running late on uploading schedule, so I sped run through everything that I should not have sped run through. Now I have deformed hatches, deformed wheels, you name it, there's a lot of deformed things in my tank. Look at that, that's messed up. This is messed up as well. Now, I will never be able to access this wheel, this roller, ever again, because you see where the screw is in there? There's a cover where I super glue and will never. And with my new confidence, I'm ready to test out tracks that I've designed. But just to be on the safe side, I'm printing a little sample of about 20 tracks, so then I can see if it actually works. While the tracks were printing, I noticed that the idler wheel was a bit like, I didn't even know, but the wheels were different by at least 4 centimeters, so I messed up big time. Very big time. So what I did was just end up reprinting the whole new piece. Now how I planned the tracks to be produced was actually pretty simple. I just get up out of my chair, step on a mat, pick it up, get it, and then attach the pads onto the track or the mat itself. Now you know how the rest goes. Anyways, I didn't decide to use at least one brain cell when designing the tracks, cause it's till the second pair of tracks when I realized I could have at least built the tracks in order instead of brute forcing all the teeth through the mat, which first saves me a lot of time and makes me realize I should think before I act. I can't fit this in. Nothing's fitting! And 1, 2, skip a few, and then we're on to the internals of the tank, the guts of the tank. Now to do this and make everything work accordingly, I have to go on my computer and do some very sophisticated programming. Anyway, skip a few more steps and then we're on to testing the tank. As you can see, the kind of fun part, or not fun for me, because I spent hell trying to fix the tank. I don't know. I can go backwards, but not forwards. How magnificent. Okay, let's test the servo. It's not that good, actually. It's not like working. Anywho, all we need to know is that the tank can go backwards, but not necessarily forwards. So someone please tell me the physics for that. And second is that the suspension is not cool enough. So yeah, there's a problem with that, considering all the tank does is bump up and down and move forward. The necessary points that I need that are not there. Now for the speakers, I was actually going to think of putting real speakers in, as it would mean it would be cooler, I guess. But due to my stupidity and inability to design things correctly, I wasn't able to put any speakers. So to compensate for that, I printed out some fake ones and just hopefully no one notices, eh? Well, apart from the fact that I just told you. Well, I'm not bothered to show you how I built the hull, cause it's the same process at the start of the video. Just watch me glue pieces of cards together, so it's pretty damn boring. Anywho, for this part you can just look at the tank, and hopefully I've set a standard for someone that's going to build it. I mean, I hope someone else builds a better tank than I did, cause yeah, that's not that cool. Anywho, yeah, you can watch the last few moments and the product of my suffering for past 2 weeks.
Disco Panzer. Disco Panzer. Disco Panzer. Disco Panzer.